She was just standing there, not moving. She tried hard to think of something, anything, to explain it. So long, she had been fooled. She watched the woman. Since when had she lied? She sought to understand what occurred. She lied? In danger? When she watched the beggar enter the automobile, she knew. She followed the woman to find out what was wrong. As the mystery unfolded, she had no idea that she would find out so many lies. Melissa Smith, who lives in San Diego, California, was running her usual errands when she saw the beggar again. On this day, something just didn't feel right. Melissa decided to go with her gut and look into it a little more. She was getting gas for her car when she saw the woman begging and her young son standing behind the shopping center. But she couldn't believe it when she saw where they went. The first thing she did was pull out her phone. This beggar must have been smart because she saved her favorite spot in a place called East Lake Village Center, which is a shopping mall. This posh mall contained Goodwill, hair salons, dentists, grocery stores, and pricey clothes stores. The woman knew that this place would be full of people willing to give a poor woman with a huge baby bump some extra money. But her plan had a big flaw. She had no idea that one woman would figure out what she was up to. California is known for its warm weather, beautiful beaches, and famous people who live there, but it is also known for having a lot of homeless people. And people need to know that some of them are fakes. Melissa didn't think she was a fool when it came to con artists, but there was something off about this woman. But when she started seeing her every weekend in the same place, she didn't listen to her gut. I felt bad. There's a poor pregnant woman with a little boy, she remembers. She didn't know it yet, but she should have gone with her first thoughts. The beggar stood out in the hot sun for a long time, but she wasn't always alone. Her son was sometimes with her. Melissa remembers seeing the little boy's dad, who she thought was his dad, standing with them more than once. People in the area knew about the three of them because it's not every day that you see a pregnant beggar. This tugged at more than a few heartstrings, and people did tend to give them more than usual. They would often drop dollar bills into their cup and give them hot drinks and sandwiches. But one day, Melissa couldn't keep her interest in check any longer. Smith had never wondered why the beggar was there until one day, when he couldn't help but feel sorry for her. She had seen the woman who was pregnant in the same place for more than 2 months. Melissa thought that she must be in trouble. The poor woman must have been very uncomfortable standing in the hot California sun for hours while she was very pregnant. But then something happened that made Melissa very suspicious, and she couldn't stop thinking about it. The woman who was pregnant seemed to have learned how to beg well. She knew that people going in and out of the shopping center would feel sorry for her, so she did her best to make them feel bad. The sight of a pregnant beggar and her toddler son elicited some sympathetic looks from passers-by. "Please help" was written on the cardboard sign she held up over her baby bump. People who walked by felt bad for the young woman and pulled out their wallets. Was it all a show, or was she for real? Melissa wanted to know, but she didn't know what she was getting into. Melissa lived just a few minutes' drive from the shopping center, but she had never been there at this time before. She usually ran errands for an hour in the middle of the morning, but she decided to break with tradition today and stop for a smoothie before the store closed. When Melissa saw that the pregnant beggar wasn't in her usual spot, she couldn't help but worry about the woman. She was worried about her. When she turned on her car, she saw that she was almost out of gas. So, she turned around and stopped at the gas station across from the East Lake Village Center to fill up. Then she saw something strange that made her want to look into it. Melissa saw a friend while getting gas. The pregnant beggar waited behind the shopping center with her placard, hoping for a few more pennies. As Melissa watched, an automobile approached the pregnant beggar. Mistake? Melissa began to get suspicious when the car stopped right next to the woman. She might have seen too much. Melissa was shocked by what she was seeing. She turned her head to get a better look, and when she saw what she saw, she couldn't believe what she saw. The woman was with the driver. But the man's car was the most surprising thing about him. The vehicle was a Mercedes-Benz, a widely recognized symbol of opulence. To Melissa's untrained eye, it was obvious that this item was quite pricey. But why was she wasting her time in that expensive car? Melissa took action, but she never thought she'd be in the news. As they left, I saw that they were in a Mercedes-Benz. I was like, wow, a Mercedes-Benz? Melissa says. Not only that, but the car looked like it had just been made. Melissa got in her car and drove after the two people. She was using her phone to record the whole thing when her car pulled up next to the couple, who were laughing. Surprise! There they were, standing in plain sight. They are having a good time while tallying their earnings. Neither they nor their child are using a car seat or wearing seat belts. Melissa confirmed that he was really sitting up front with the couple. She couldn't have felt betrayed anymore. She knew she had to find out what was going on and tell everyone. But she had no way of knowing how far this case went. Melissa followed the vehicle to another retail complex near the first. Everything looked like it was planned out for this couple. When the car stopped, Melissa was shocked to see the pregnant beggar get out and start to trick everyone again. She sits with the sign there. He takes the Mercedes and parks it. They put up the sign, and in less than 5 minutes, all these people were giving her money, which made Melissa very angry. Now that she had caught her, she couldn't have known that the police would be coming soon. Melissa was dangerously close to getting to the bottom of something much worse. Melissa started taking pictures when she got close to the woman and her little boy. But as soon as the pregnant beggar saw her, she turned mean. She started to yell and scream and raised a big rock over her head in a threatening way. Melissa said, "The next thing I knew, she had picked up this big rock and was coming at me with it. I don't know if pregnant women can do that, but the rock was pretty big and was over her head. Someone saw what was going on and decided to call the police. When the beggar saw what was going on, she grabbed her child and ran away." The woman didn't know that Melissa wasn't going to forget about what she'd seen. Melissa wouldn't allow the lady cheat the public. She called a news station and told everyone on social media what had happened. She wanted everyone in the area to know how they had been tricked and to be warned not to fall for this master thief's plan. The story interested the news station so much that they decided to run the plates of the car Melissa had taken pictures of. To their surprise, it said that the car was registered to a woman and that the address was not given. She didn't know that other people were also looking at this one beggar. Journalists quickly followed suit, and this was the start of an exciting chain of events. The woman lived in the Encinitas Heights apartments, and people who lived there say that the rent is $2,500 a month. After a few tries, no one came to answer the door. Then, though, they got a phone call. The couple who lived in the apartment had just moved in, and the couple who lived there before them had just moved out. Smith kept track of everything. People on social media and in the news were very interested in the mysterious pregnant beggar, so they told everyone about her. "I feel bad. Don't give money to these people. It's not what they need," Smith said. "They're in a Benz." But while the investigation was still making people angry, one phone call got journalists moving. Someone else had seen the person asking for money. Rebecca was shopping when she thought she saw a beggar she had seen at another shopping center. She told the broadcasters when she called them. After a few minutes, Emily Valdez got to the center. Valdez got up and glanced around for the lady in the middle when she found out the beggar was still there. But she didn't know what to do when she found her. Wasn't she supposed to be with child? Melissa Smith had taken the pictures just 2 days before, but the woman in front of her was holding a baby. Valdez and the camera crew went up to the woman. "Are you here to beg?" Valdez asked the woman as she showed him a picture of a pregnant beggar on her phone. After looking at the picture for a while, the woman said that she didn't know English. Had she just been caught? The lady who was carrying the infant was also with a little kid who seemed to be an exact match for the youngster in the image, and then the baby's father arrived. He got rid of the camera crew and walked through the parking lot with his family. The camera crew caught them getting into a minivan with dealer plates. But they had something else in mind. Face recognition was done on both women, and 80% of the time, the results were the same. But Valdez thought there was more to the story because of something. First, he talked to the beggar in Spanish. Then, he said a few words in another language. He had no idea that this one piece of information was going to blow the whole case wide open. Valdez played back the recording and carefully listened when she heard the language. She then picked up the phone and called in the experts right away. Leslie Albright paid close attention to the video that Valdez and her crew had taken. She just quit her job as a detective at the San Diego Police Department, where she had worked for 25 years as an expert on underground crime rings. But something about this case made her nod her head, and all of a sudden she realized that this was no ordinary beggar. The woman's actions had made a lot of people angry on social media, and her scam was about to be found out. But there was more to the story. There were signs that a problem in the community was getting worse. Under California's smooth and cool surface, there was a dark side that was getting bigger every day. At great risk, one Redditor was determined to show what was really going on. Leslie had seen a lot of crime in her life, so she thought something was up when she heard the man talk. She knew right away what he was saying in the recording that Valdez's camera crew had made, and their way of doing things was just like many that she had seen before. But what else were they trying to hide? Albright says that the couple is linked to a group of criminals in California who work together. They came to the country without permission and break the law every day. They are known to live in expensive apartment buildings and have a lot of cars, so they can scam people who don't know them. Most likely, the couple is not a couple at all, and the beggar's pregnancy was just a way to get people to feel sorry for her and give her money. But what other kinds of crimes does the group do? The story is not as simple as it seems. The problem with this group is that they don't stay in one place for long. Because of this, it's hard for the police to find them. When they hear that someone is watching them, they pack up and leave. This is exactly what had happened with this pair of suspects. But an unnamed man was about to bring attention to the strange couple and put himself in danger by doing so. One man came forward after seeing a video of the beggar on the news and told everyone what happened on Reddit. A friend of a friend told me that they knew them and that they are just a pair of hustlers whose families tricked their way into the country. He also said that he knew all about the woman's dark past and that she had not had an easy life. She was forced to work in the crime ring when she was very young. After he told everyone, he quit Reddit because he was afraid of what would happen to him if the men who ran the crime ring found out who he was. It was also found out that the woman in the video often pretends to be pregnant by hiding a piece of foam under her shirt. This helped her make over $500 a day, and she is not the only one who does this. The men at the top of the organized crime ring are in charge of how the whole thing works. They send women all over the country every morning, promising them food and a place to stay. Through illegal panhandling, they make sure the women have enough money to live well. That's only the tip of the iceberg, though. They'll use babies and kids however they can. Albright said in an interview that the children won't go to school because the family business is their job and their future. When these kids grow up, they become criminals. The anonymous Redditor also wrote, "People should know that there are many services and organizations out there to help people, especially women with children. They take advantage of all of them and also scam people at the entrances to the parking lots. Neither of them is telling the government how much money they are making from her begging, and both are saying they are poor to get help from the state and federal government." Soon after that, the informant started getting strange and threatening phone calls, but he had one more thing to say before he disappeared from Reddit. They might be up and trying this scam again, or it might be a different woman. Either way, call the police on them and make sure to tell the dispatcher that they're the BMW scammers so they can be found and deported. Don't help or give money to any of the people who are begging. The Redditor who doesn't want to be named warns. Investigators are still looking for the head of operations, and since the story went viral, people have been more careful about who they give money to. Who knows what other crimes this group of criminals in California is responsible for?